Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brendan Plays. This is Total Extreme Wrestling for our All Elite Wrestling save. And today we have the Fight for the Fallen pay-per-view. Very excited for this one. You know, we've been talking about it for the last few episodes, how we weren't 100% sure if this card was going to build and lead up to something great. But after putting the card together, I feel like I'm a little bit more confident. I feel like there's some good matches here. And originally, I thought this was going to be a bit of a throwaway, lackluster show. This is the first pay-per-view that we are doing without having CM Punk and Kenny Omega, two of our big names that have been really delivering at a high level for us. So I'm a little bit concerned, but I feel like after putting the card together, we might be okay. Well, speaking of the card, it is all ready to go. We might select a different location though. So we're expecting around 20,000 fans for this show. I've been trying to go to all these different locations. In particular, you know, we obviously want to try and target the ones that are going to get you the most fans. Southeast has always been our main show, our main location. This time we might switch it up. We might go to the Mid-South. So we might select San Antonio. That could be our venue today. So that's where we're going to be. But the card is already booked, ready to go, and we may as well check it out. Alright, so we open things up with the opening video package, just hyping up what's to come here on the card. Our first match on the show is Proud and Powerful versus FTR versus the Lucha Brothers. FTR score the victory in what was, in the end, a TLC match. Now, I wanted to just do a straight ladders match, but apparently a ladder match is more dangerous than a TLC match, and we weren't allowed to broadcast it because it was too risky for our viewership, apparently. So that's one of our product setting issues. But TLC apparently was approved, so go figure. Nonetheless, FTR retaining their championships after Ortiz was there. He had the championships, just about to grab it off the ladder, but MJF interfered and allowed FTR to win. So still developing that storyline where MJF is trying to get the trust back from the Pinnacle. He's trying to help out his guys, trying to make his faction as strong as possible, and keeping the championships on FTR, you know, that serves in his own personal interest. More money for the group, more money for MJF. He's taken a cut, so it's obviously a beneficial thing for him. So FTR keep the belts. 75 rated match, disappointing. The worst performance in the match was actually Cash with 76, Dax 78. FTR was the worst in the match. Can you believe that? Santana 78, Ortiz 80, Penta 85, Ray Phoenix 89. Excellent. Well, FTR, they're amazing in real life, but they're just not quite translating as much here in the game. Still, their performances are good, no doubt about that, but you know, I would definitely be expecting FTR to be outperforming Proud and Powerful. That is for sure. So that's a little disappointing, but nonetheless, an important win for FTR, their second championship defense. Okay, moving on. Miro's got a promo hyping up his match tonight in the main event against Danielson, 80 rated. And our next match, Cabanahausen and the Acclaimed. Yes, this actually made the card. Somehow, we had a lot of time up our sleeve, so we did it. 9-minute match, the Acclaimed score the win, 53 rated. That was decent, actually, not too bad, so not a bad little filler match. Jade Cargill and Athena went one-on-one for the Women's Championship. Jade makes it her 10th defense of the Women's Championship, 61 rated. And apparently Athena made Jade Cargill look particularly strong, so Athena making Jade look amazing with her selling, which is good to see. 12-minute match, so it was a little bit longer for Jade. And Jade apparently really off her game. She only performed at 44, so that's still disappointing. Look, Jade obviously has got the popularity, she's got the mic skills, she's got the star presence, she has good angles, but her matches just aren't great. Pretty much the same as real life. She's, you know, decent on the mic, her angles are okay on occasion, but her matches are bad. So again, you know, you have to kind of factor in when is the time to get the belt off Jade. Is the time soon? Is it not? Now we have Saraya. Do we take that risk? These are the things we've got to think about. But Jade at the moment, still carrying the division, still has the Women's Championship. Athena not going to win the belt tonight. Athena kindly used her superior skills to make Jade Cargill look particularly strong. The match was better as a result. Yeah, look, 61 for not an eye candy, just a straight up one-on-one. 61 for the women is really good. Post-match, Saraya saves Athena from a Jade Cargill attack. So Jade looking to continue the assault on Athena. Saraya Well, she starts to show some physicality as she gets her hands on Jade and takes her down to stop her from attacking Athena. I think it's got to make sense. Saraya and Jade has got to be the match we're looking at for the upcoming All Out pay-per-view. Next up, a 6-man tag, or a trios match if you will. Christian Coalition, with they of course Christian Cage, Mark Quinn, Isaiah Cassie of the Private Party, taking on and losing to Samoa Joe and Jurassic Express. I tell you what, how did this match get 81 but the opening match got 75? It blows my mind. Private Party teaming with Christian Cage. I was originally going to do Andrade and Lance, but because I wanted this team to lose, I didn't want to have the big guns, involved if they're going to take a loss. So Isaiah 68, Mark Quinn 61, Christian, wow, 88 from Christian Cage. Are you kidding me? Holy. We need to have Christian in more trios matches, I tell you that now. Luchasaurus 69, Jungle Boy 77 was the best, and his team Samoa Joe 73. That's not too bad. Wow. 88 from Christian Cage. He still got it, man. I tell you what, if he could do that in singles matches, he'd be the world champion. But yeah, look, giving Samoa Joe the win. We're going to extend this feud. I think this has been a good feud for Andrade and Christian's Coalition as a whole. It's giving a lot of our upper mid-carders something to do, and it's been good. And obviously translating into a solid match, 81 will always be good to me. That's a great match. Certainly for the guys involved, this match definitely overachieved. Next up, Keith Lee promotes his triple threat match tonight with, of course, Brian Cage, Ethan Page. 74 for the promo. That's better from Keith Lee. He's had some bad promos in recent times, so this is a much better performance. And the triple threat match, Keith Lee defends his championship against Ethan Page and Brian Cage. Keith Lee pinning Ethan Page, so Brian Cage does not have to take a loss here. And it's Keith Lee's 7th defense of the TNT Championship. Keith Lee 82, Brian Cage 64, Ethan Page 60. 79 match. How did this get better than the opening? I don't know. I'm not going to fight it anymore. It just blows my mind. But nonetheless, 79 for this is incredible. A triple threat match, upper mid card guys getting a chance. Ethan Page trying to move him up the card as well. This has been good. Brian Cage has been, deserving of this opportunity as well. And there might be some more there to explore between Brian Cage and Keith Lee. We want to do some sort of rematch again. Especially because their first match, Ethan Page, cost Brian Cage the match. So I think there's enough there to maybe warrant a rematch on probably Dynamite or Rampage. 79. That's a big thumbs up. So far, so good for this card. Every match has been pretty good, actually. W. Morrissey is searching for competition for Dynamite. We had some extra time. I thought I'll squeeze in a Morrissey promo, get him some exposure, and just let the fans know that he's still, being treated as a big deal. 57 is decent. Anderson's trying. I give him that. He's trying his best to get him over. Another trios match. Lots of trios matches on this card, actually. The Natural Pros versus the Gunn family. Yeah, look, not a strong match, and it was never going to be, but this is a match that I thought was important that we get on the card. So the Gunn family just turning heel recently, and now they get their chance at the Natural Pros. Billy Gunn cheats his way to a win, so allowing the Gunn family to win. Paul White was the best in the match with 52. That says it all. 47 overall. Billy Gunn was getting tired. The match was 11 minutes long, and Billy Gunn was gassed. Should have tagged in his sons. Post-match, the Natural Pros fend off an attempted beatdown from the Gunn family. Yeah, so look, we wanted to continue the feud. The Gunns tried to attack, Frankie and Dustin Rhodes and Paul White a little bit further. Paul White sort of, is able to level things and kind of shut that down. But look, I think there's more to explore. I think we can get a lot of popularity away from the Natural Pros and put it on the Gunn family, especially from this feud. Paul White has plenty of popularity to give away, so he's not using it very well, so we might as well give it to someone who actually will, and I think the Gunn family will, so that's the plan nonetheless. 44 for that segment. Next up, the Butcher Blade and Angelico challenge Flying High to a match. Angelico still recovering from a shoulder injury, should be back very soon, another week or so. So we couldn't do the match on this card, but we'll do it maybe on next Dynamite or Rampage. 42 for the promo. No strong promo guy in that group. I still think the Butcher and Blade, if we're going to really be serious about pushing them, they need a manager. Who that manager will be, I don't know. I don't know at this point. Thunderstorm and the Inspiration women's tag team match, #1 contendership, 74 rated. It wasn't eye candy, and of course we had the queen of the eye candy involved, Cassie Lee. Jessie McKay was there too. 80 from Cassie Lee, my god, that is ridiculous. Jessie 78, Toni Storm 64, Thunder Rosa 61. 74 rated match, Thunderstorm pick up the win, and they are the new #1 contenders. They'll face Divinity for the championships next. Chris Jericho, Darby Allin hype video for 66, and the match 78. Okay, yep, pretty good. Darby Allin, 86 rated performance. Jericho and Darby have great chemistry, and it showed with a real big lift to their match. Darby also took a big bump in the match as well, and Darby Allin 86 is insane. Darby Allin gets another win over Chris Jericho, this time with a quick roll up, 1, 2, 3, gets out of there, steals a win away from Jericho. So Darby kind of painting the story that he's got Jericho's number. 2 wins now over Jericho. You could argue the first one was a fluke, but the second one definitely not. So I'm thinking what will lead up to is Jericho really getting serious, really starting to try and harm Darby Allin, and maybe do some sort of, you know, no DQ match, a blow-off match. Maybe Jericho gets his win back there, but you know, look, I think this feud's got more legs to it. 78, and these two have great chemistry. I think you can do a lot more with this and really get some good quality matches. And look, Jericho's been struggling in the ring, so he's got someone who's actually getting the best out of him. Probably best that we do as much as we can with these two guys. Next up, Thunderstorm and Divinity have a confrontation backstage. So yeah, after the big win from Thunderstorm, they run into Divinity, a bit of war of words, back and forth, maybe some pushing and shoving. 52 for that segment, just planting some seeds for their upcoming match. We recap the Blackpool Combat Club and the Undisputed Elite, their rivalry, 69 rated, as we get ready to finally crown the Trios champion. So we've been having a lot of Trios matches in this card. Well, there's a reason for it, because we have a Trios championship. Yes, we're actually going to finally crown it, and we are going to try and make this Trios championship a legitimate, serious championship. Hence why we're having all these other trios being formed. We're trying to make it work, unlike real life. So let's have a look and let's see how the Trios Championship match goes. 88 rated! Are you kidding me? Blackpool Combat Club, Undisputed Elite, 88 rated. My mind is blown. Claudio Castagnoli, 84. Jon Moxley, 87. Eddie Kingston even did good. Eddie freaking Kingston even had a 75 performance. Never seen it in my life. He's done it. Bobby Fish, his last match in AEW before we get rid of him, 65. Kyle O'Reilly was great, 80. Adam Cole though, you sneaky devil Adam Cole. Cannot forget about you. You've been the guy that's kind of just flown on the radar, but a 95 rated performance. Wow. 88 rated match. I mean, we talked about it. We were concerned because the Undisputed Elite, their trios matches coming into this pay-per-view have been pretty bad. So I was concerned that this match was going to be maybe high 70s. To get 88 is unbelievable. And I think it might have to do with the fact that, you know, obviously Moxley and Kyle O'Reilly had a banger of a match and really elevated the storyline heat. So the storyline heat was at an all-time high. It was high 80s, ready to go. So because of that, that heat really allowed this match to deliver to a high standard. So, well, yeah, you have it. We've got a new Trios champion. It is Claudio Castagnoli and Moxley and Kingston, the Blackpool Combat Club. 88 match. Wow. All right, we hype up Miro and Danielson, 73, and the match, 92. Oh my god, this card was meant to be crap. Banger after banger. 92 rated. Bryan Danielson, that's why he is the AEW World Champion. Defense number 2, he beats Miro. Now, Miro 84, Danielson 93. Excellent, both guys are amazing. This match though, Danielson beats Miro due to injury stoppage. Miro goes down, he gets hurt, he can't continue, the referee calls off the match. Miro doesn't take the 1, 2, 3, doesn't look that bad. Taking a loss, it's a way to get him out of this match without sort of having him lose in a way. And we can also extend this feud. Miro, what would have happened if he had have been healthy? What would have happened if he didn't go down hurt? Would he have beaten Danielson? What's going to happen there? You know, will there be a rematch? You know, when's the rematch going to happen? You know, is it, you know, all these different questions. If we get 92 out of this match, you run it back, don't you? Run it back for All Out, get another 90? I think it'd be crazy not to. So, excellent match. I'm so happy with that. That is ridiculous. That's one of the best matches we've had in the save. I think probably the second best match since the save began again, the restart. Miro's helped to the locker room after getting injured in the post match. So Danielson celebrates. Miro is getting help to the back. Anderson obviously very upset that his star man, his paycheck is hurt. So 74 for that one. 85 rated edition of Fight for the Fallen. 21,000 in attendance. Wow, what a card, man. That is defied all expectations. Obviously, we didn't have a big viewership because it's a minor show, so we only broadcasted it on the Fight Network rather than all of our much bigger pay-per-view network. So it won't really help the popularity changes of too many guys. That's the only issue with this sort of minor show. We are going to change that though, because I'm going to add AEW Plus as one of our pay-per-view broadcasters. So when we do a pay-per-view, AEW Plus can be included, which should give us a much bigger broadcasting viewership for our show. So that will change. I was meant to do it for this one, I just forgot to, so that's okay. We'll do it for next time. So I'm going to praise Danielson, I'm going to praise Miro, and I'm going to praise Adam Cole. I'm very happy with how all this played out. So Danielson, Miro, and Adam Cole are all happy with their praise. Alright, now we'll look at the fallout from Fight for the Fallen. As we mentioned, we won't have the big popularity changes, I don't think, so we won't really need to go into too much detail with that. And Helico's back from injury. Buddy Matthews and Malachi Black are back from their 1 month vacation. So I gave them 1 month. In real life, I think it's been longer, so we probably will extend their vacation, or as we mentioned, we might even send them to Ring of Honor. I mean, that's purgatory enough. That's a pretty big punishment, so that would suck. 87,000 buys for Fight for the Fallen, so that's a pretty appropriate sort of buy rate, so I'm pretty happy with that. Financially, you know, you can't complain too much. Obviously, we're going to be majorly in the red this month because we establish our new broadcasting network. So that's probably our main concern there. But nonetheless, you know, a minor show. You don't want to get too crazy of a buy rate, otherwise it's not as realistic as it could have been. I think the only downfall of the show was the triple threat tag. I really thought that was going to be a great match. I thought that would be 80 plus. So every other match I think exceeded my expectations, except the triple threat tag. So one match out of the card that didn't get there, you know, I can live with that. That's fine. That's all right. Obviously, up next, so we've just had Fight for the Fallen. We don't have another pay-per-view schedule until the first week of September. So we'll have a fair bit of time to build towards All Out. And then, of course, it's a short turnaround until we have Grand Slam. Then we have nothing until Full Gear. So it's a bit of an interesting time. We have Royal Flush penciled in for later in the year. We might change that. We might keep it. Of course, that was our UK show that we did last year. So we'll have to consider looking at that and maybe changing it. So let's take a look at any popularity changes that we may have gotten. Alright, for our main event, as there wasn't really too much of a change to really talk about. The only one that really mentioned is Samoa Joe has now moved up the card. So he's now considered to be a major star by the fans, where originally he was just a star. So he's now considered to be a main event guy, which I think in actual fact, yes, he should be a main event level talent, but his performances aren't really representative of that. So we'll have to wait and see. Dax Harwood, 70 popularity, still staying there, which is good. No real change for him as of late. Danielson, Miro are all around the cap, so they're not really going to be much of a factor. Most guys in the main event scene are around the cap. Chris Jericho obviously took a loss, and he has taken a bit of a loss in recent weeks. He had 80, he's now down to 79, so not really much of a change, so nothing to really be too concerned about. Cash Wheeler's the one that sort of benefited the most out of this pay-per-view. He had about 66, 67, now hovering around 68, so he did drop a little bit of popularity when he took a loss earlier in the month, but he's now regained some of that, so that's really positive. Darby Allin, still hovering around high to mid 60s, about 66 is the average. So yes, he beat Jericho, but there's not too much of a progression for him despite the fact that he gets that win over Jericho, which is a bit of a shame. You would have liked to have seen him, get a little bit more, but of course, as we mentioned, not enough viewership is probably the key there. Ethan Page, he's had a good month, up to 58 pop. It's been a really good month for him. He's had a lot of progression. Scorpio Sky, he's up to 50 as well after getting his win recently on Dynamite, which is great. Paul White, he's obviously been the one that's taken some losses. We'll see if the Guns really gain anything. Billy Gunn, 45 pop, so probably not a lot of change. He started the month at 40. Of course, that's because he got the win over Jake Hager to really elevate him. So we'll see if his sons got any sort of progression. They're the ones that really need to go up. 24 at the moment for Colton. Yep, no change, which is a shame. Austin Gunn, about 27, 28, and he has had, he's gone up a little bit. So probably a 1 point gain for him throughout this month. So at least that's a positive. The other thing I'll mention, even though he's now the Trios champion, Eddie Kingston still finds himself not as a star, just still as well known, which is a bit of a shame. But he's had a good month. He started the month in the early 50s. He's gained probably 2 or 3 points throughout the month, so there's hope that he can move up the card. Kyle O'Reilly, he's actually got mid 60s pop and finds himself in that mid card range, which is a real severe drop from where he probably should be. So definitely Kyle needs to change the perception that he's got from the fans as well. But ladies and gentlemen, not too much change for our popularities, but definitely successful in terms of the card. I think we're in a good position. We're going to have to kind of do a bit of reset, really think about what we want to do for All Out, how we're going to make All Out as good as it has been our last few pay-per-views. It's been really good. Fight for the Fallen, 85, just behind Revolution, which was 86, and Road Rager was 84. So 3 really good pay-per-views so far we've done this year. Double or Nothing wasn't great. House Always Wins was alright. So nothing amazing, but 3 very solid shows. 2 of them in the last little bit. So even though we don't have Kenny, we don't have Punk, even the Young Bucks, and we don't have the House of Black really anymore. That's a lot of our main event guys that we've been using pretty heavily, pretty prominent. I mean, don't forget, Malachi Black was a tag champ. We don't have those guys at our disposal anymore, but the show goes on and it still is successful. So sometimes, you think it's all over, you think, you really badly need someone, but you probably don't, But we'll be happy to have them back when they are eligible to come back in a few months' time. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this edition of Total Extreme Wrestling. If you enjoyed it, leave a like on it, subscribe to see more. We're going to keep on going with the series, guys. I'm still enjoying it. Love playing Total Extreme Wrestling. All Out is our next pay-per-view that we're going to be focusing on. So join us for the build towards that pay-per-view over the next few episodes. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. We'll see you in the next one.